Hey, my name is Amiko, and in this video I'm going to show my process for creating a three-piece collection. I guess I would like to start at the beginning and give you a background of how this collection came to be. So it all started when I worked with Shein and created a Shein X Amiko collection, and from there I loved working with the team, and I loved the whole process. I love how the collection came out, and they asked if I'd like to apply for a contest they were doing called their Shein X 100K challenge. Through this challenge I had to design 3 different pieces, and then if those 3 pieces got chosen into the next like 30 finalists, then I had to take these pieces and produce the samples and create the lookbook. And I even got as far as the final 5, which was like totally unexpected. In this video I want to just show some behind the scenes of what it was like to create the concept and then sketch the designs, create the tech packs, source all the fabric and trim, create the patterns, and then take the patterns, cut all the fabric to make the samples, and finally creating the lookbook. And I actually, Shein ended up producing these samples, so I can show you what the final production samples look like at the end too. The first thing I needed to do for this collection was to define the brand, which was Shein plus me. The target customer was like 18 to 35, trend forward, mass market. Season, which was fall winter 2021. Line plan, 3 pieces. And then for the concept, I really wanted to do something that I was excited about. I'm also an outerwear designer, so I'm like, let me do 3 jackets. Let me use vintage inspiration and create these pieces that are sporty and bold, but also have a nostalgic feel. So I drew a lot on 1950s evening jackets for inspiration. And so you'll see I combined like elegant draping and ruching with like exposed décolleté, and then I added in sporty details like sports mesh, bungee reflective shock cord, and plastic zippers and Velcro. So what you get is this tension between like elegance and old world charm, and then all these like sporty modern details. I've pulled out some of my rough sketches for this collection, so here, I'll show them. Here. So, you know, they're all various sizes, different paper. Some are full figure, some are just flats. There's really no rhyme or reason. I like to keep it as free as possible, and like that's the whole point for me of brainstorming, is I like being messy. Once I figure out what my final designs are, then I'll usually go into Procreate, and I'll start with a rough sketch. So here's an example of one of my rough sketches, and then I'll eventually have my final sketch. And for this project, usually I'm done here, but for this project I took it a step further and I actually brought it into Illustrator. For this first design, I love the idea of doing a cropped boat neck moto jacket. And I wanted to do a really open boat neck neckline so that it would expose the décolleté area, which I think is really sexy. I want the neckline to be so open that it's easy to kind of zhuzh and expose a shoulder, because I think that's a nice option as well. And I'm thinking, because this fabric is a memory fabric, I want to create some volume. So I'm going to put a pleat at the sleeve. It's going to need a zipper, and I don't want the zipper to be super heavy, so I'm going to use like a molded plastic zipper. And I also love the idea of doing covered snaps or covered buttons, so that it's all like one color and your eye doesn't get distracted by anything. This jacket's kind of short, so it doesn't really offer that much real estate for pockets, but I can't design a jacket without pockets. It just feels so weird, and like no one wants a jacket without pockets. So I did end up doing like small besom pockets. I want to make sure this jacket stays put in place. So I'm going to do these little raglan sleeve caps that have an elasticated opening so that it stays on the shoulder and doesn't move around too much. So I took this idea of a ski jacket, and I want to give it something that feels like elegant. So I want to maybe do some pleats at the shoulders and give it like a sort of like a puff sleeve. And I want the construction to be kind of interesting. I love this idea of doing a raglan sleeve and then having like a panel underneath the arm. I also want this to be very feminine, so I'm gonna do like a corsety detail at the waist that laces up with a neon reflective shock cord that gives it like a little bit of a sporty element. And I'm always thinking about comfort, so I'm going to also include a gusset at the back so that when she moves her arms, it will open and give her some more ease of movement and comfort. The way that this is color blocked is going to be really important because that can create some interesting effects. And for the last design, I want to do something that's very dramatic. I want to do like a long coat. I'm always thinking about like each piece needs to be different. So I have like the short cropped moto guy, and I have a ski jacket, so then I feel like I need a longer piece here that has a lot of volume. So to create that volume, I'm going to do a big trapeze shape and carry on the detail of the raglan sleeve with a panel at the underarm. And then since this is going to have so much volume, I like to bring it in at the hem and put elastic at the bottom that creates like a bubble shape, and that will help control some of the volume. And also, I like to give her the option of it being cinched at the waist. So I'll do an interior jaw cord, and that way she can wear it like open or kind of cinched or like really cinched depending on what her mood is. And I'm also going to remember to do an inseam pocket because she needs a place to put her things. I'm really happy with this concept. I love this idea of combining like 1950s evening jacket theme with modern classic pieces like a windbreaker or a ski jacket or a moto jacket, but then reinventing these so they have, you know, like a nostalgic feel, but also with like sporty elements as well. I guess I'll go through the tech pack. So the tech pack is a place to put all of the information that you would ever need for the garment. And the purpose of this is so that you can send it either if you're making the sample yourself, so you can see like the construction, the trim, the fabric, questions, comments all in one place, or if you're sending this to a factory so they have instruction on how to actually create this sample. So I start with the front page, which is my sketch, and then I always include the fabric. In this case, I like source the fabric through Swatch On, so I have pretty specific information here. This is for the sample. In the production this may change because of costing purposes. And I always have a detail page, which is where I call out all of the design and construction details. That's really important, and that's part of the design. I used to overlook the detail pages because I was like, it's kind of boring, but really what I realized is the good design is all in the details and all in the construction as well. And then we have the BOM page. So the BOM stands for Bill of Materials, and that's where I list my main fabric, my lining, any fastenings, all the thread, and any trim. Like in this case, there's flat elastic, there's a molded plastic zipper, also mentioning interfacing and the main label. And this will really help me as I make the sample because I can take all of my BOM pages from my designs and I can like literally check off everything to make sure that I have everything in advance of making the samples, because that's the hardest part, is like the timing of it all. The worst thing is when you're ready to just start sewing but you don't have your materials. And then I have the measurement page where I just give like very basic measurements of like, okay, what do I want like the approximate length to be, like how much is the neck gonna drop, what's the height of the waistband, what's the collar width, little things, so when I'm doing the pattern it will help me like stay focused on what the overall like design vision is that I'm trying to achieve. Then I also have a place for questions and proto comments. So I do this for every single sketch in the collection. I just got my swatches from Swatch On, so I'm about to open them. Hopefully I'll find something in here that will work. Sourcing fabric is always like the first step for me because it usually takes a little while, and then I just want to make sure I have all my materials here in time so that I have enough time to like sew everything together. I hate rushing sewing. That is like, just brings me back to FIT college days, all-nighters, and I like will do anything to avoid that happening again. All right, so I'm gonna open this box. I'm really excited. Love this guy, and I also am loving the shades. There's like a lot of different colors available, and it has the colors that I need, so I'm probably gonna go with this, but I'm excited to see what else I got going on. Usually for sewing projects I would go into the city. I live like an hour from New York, and I would go to trim stores and bring my fabric swatch with me and then match everything there. But with COVID and also just like the time constraints on this project, I instead ordered all of my trim online. Let's see, I got my sew in Velcro. Oh, I got these, this is a cute box. I got these, what are these? Pattern clips? Oh yeah, so I've never actually worked with these before. They're clips, so instead of pinning, I can clip the fabric together. My hands get so torn up from the pins. Like, that's something I'll never get used to in fashion design. It's just like constantly being poked by pins. Don't love that. So hopefully these pins will help with that. What's this? Oh, this is my my snap fastening kit. You would think as an outerwear designer that I know how to do this, but I've actually never done my own snaps before, so I'm actually really excited to try this. What else did I get? Oh, these are, oh, okay, nice. I got sew on snaps as well. This is great. I really needed these. I got pinking shears. And, let's see. They have a zigzag edge, and that helps the fabric not fray. Oh, so nice and sharp. The idea is that this will fray less than this. I'm gonna do a shot of all of the trim together to see like how everything worked out, if the colors look good together, and yeah. So here I have all my fabrics and my lining. I also have interfacing. Here are all my threads, which I picked out in person because I wanted to make sure that those matched. And then I ordered these zippers online. They're plastic zippers. And I have my elastics, my bungee, and this is like pretty cool. It's like neon with a little bit of a reflective detail. And my bungee stoppers or cord stoppers. I also have a grommet kit, sew-in snaps, covered buttons, and I'm really excited about this snap kit. I'm probably gonna use the silver ones, just to match the other hardware, but I am excited about these black snaps, which I'll use sometime in the future. I also have sew-in Velcro for the ski jacket, and that about covers it. So I like to work on a half scale. So I have a half scale form, and I drape the pattern onto that miniature form. Then I scan that miniature pattern into the computer, and I work in a 3D software program where I scale it to 200%. And then I actually, since I'm the model for this shoot, I worked on an avatar that has my dimensions, and I made like finishing touches to the pattern, and then I send it out to someone who prints out the pattern. They send it back. It's a long process. They send it back. I cut out all the fabric, and then I sew. Here is my half scale muslin drape. And then what I'll do is I'll scan this pattern into my computer and then scale it up in a 3D program to be full size. So then I have all of my full scale patterns. Is finally finished. Here's what the sleeve looks like open before it's sewn to the body, and I have pleats at the shoulder and pleats at the hem of the sleeve, and then I also have this gusset that will close when the cuff is put on. So I now have to attach the sleeves to the body. I'm about 3/4 of the way done with this jacket. So here is the center front placket. So when I turn this, the zipper will be covered. So the quality and like the zipper tape isn't so important. I think the most important thing for me was that it was lightweight, and I'm using these clips instead of pins because there's several layers of fabric. You know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and a zipper. So a pin would be very difficult to get through all of these layers, and it would leave, because this is a memory fabric, a pin would leave a mark. So these clips are coming in handy. They're also just super cute. I love working with them. So for the other side of the zipper, see, I have it all clipped together. This is the storm placket, and so this is the center front placket, and then there's a storm placket that goes behind, and the purpose of this is so that the zipper doesn't rub against the skin. There's like fabric protecting it on the back side. The next step is to add the belt or the waistband. this is where I might need you, Chad. Here, can you do it? Oh my god, you got it already? So fast. Okay, now do the honors. Wow, so pretty. So I'm looking how this sleeve is fitting, and I wanted this ruching to be dramatic without being too over the top, and I'm really liking the way that it's fitting around my shoulder. So I just have, the next step would be to add top stitch, to fold the seam allowance towards this panel and then add top stitching, and that will make it a little bit neater. But so far so good. I'm working on sewing this pocket now. I just did these lace-up details, and what I'm doing now, because the ends are fraying, so I'm gonna just snip off the frayed edge and take my lighter. And here, see if we can get like a close-up of what happens. It burns off the edges, and then that will keep it from fraying. So much fabric. This is 8 yards, and it's folded in half. I'm cutting this fabric at my kitchen island since this is the longest table in my house. Okay, so here is the coat, and this is before I sewed the underseam of the sleeve. So this is what the pattern looks like. It's very huge. So this is the hem of the jacket, and I'm adding in elastic to exaggerate the bubble hem shape. After all that work, I'm so happy that these samples made it into production. The production sample is really close to my original prototype, and they even added a snap at the center front, which I like. It's not quite as cropped as my sample, but I think maybe that's a good thing. It makes it a little bit more wearable, and I love how it can be worn off the shoulder, or it can be worn just as like a really wide boat neck. The great thing about working digitally when creating patterns is it was really easy for me to email my pattern files to the factory, so all the measurements and everything is on point, which I'm very happy about. This fabric is a little bit more lightweight than I had intended, but I think that's okay. It's more of like a windbreakery type material. The color also is not quite as bright as my original sample, but all in all, I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy with how this gusset detail at the back turned out. It definitely provides more ease. And even though the draw cord isn't reflective, I still like the quality and the color. I think this jacket runs a bit small. I'm normally a medium and I'm wearing a large. I would recommend this as a fall layering piece for chilly weather, but not really for anything like too cold. The fabric on this guy is also a little bit lighter weight, but I think it still works, and the color is really brilliant and eye-catching. This is a really kind of dramatic layering piece, and there's a lot of fabric. And the snaps look pretty good too, which I'm happy about. This piece also comes with a belt, so you can belt it and wear it cinched around the waist. I have to say, I think this is a really elegant piece. I adore the color, and I love how sporty it is. And I also love the way it looks when it's belted. Just super feminine, and I just love it. So if you love any of these pieces, I will provide a link to shop below this video. This collection really pushed me to grow. There's a lot of things that I had to do that I had never done before. And one of those things was doing the lookbook. I have never styled and produced my own photo shoot, so that was like intimidating at first, but actually it was my favorite part of the process. The styling was awesome. Like, my stepmom helped me, and we like just tried on a bunch of different outfits, and that was really awesome. And then I modeled it, which I've never done before, so that was really interesting. And one of my really good friends was the photographer, so the day of the shoot was like me, my really good friend, and my husband, and it was like we were having a party, but just like the three of us in a studio with a camera, and we like played music, and honestly it was so fun. I also sharpened my pattern making and draping and sewing skills, which was really awesome, and I learned a lot of new tricks on my 3D software program called Clo3D. I also learned to get over myself because I was really nervous throughout this process. Just putting myself out there, you know, like creating a lookbook where I'm the model and having all these photos. At the end of the day, it wasn't about me. It was about being a designer and doing my thing and putting it out there and just having fun. So I kind of relaxed a little bit and learned to just let go and enjoy.